I'm Lisa, and I'm a stay-at-home mom of two toddlers, but this wasn't always my job title. For 13 years, I worked at one of the world's largest tech companies as a senior program manager, and I absolutely loved my job and my team. But while I was on maternity leave after giving birth to my second daughter, I got a phone call one day out of the blue letting me know that my job and my entire program at the company were being eliminated. And since I was still freshly postpartum, after taking a minute to process all that, I chose to take a career pause to focus on raising my children and managing my household. And a year later, honestly, I'm still processing the grief, the identity shift of being an unpaid worker, and just adjusting to the chaos of being a full-time parent. So let's talk about it. The tech industry is volatile and it's always expanding and contracting. And as a generally cautious person, I'd say I was always preparing for the possibility of losing my job. And it's not because I'm a glass half empty kind of person, but I really believe in hoping for the best and planning for the worst. I had two children during my career, and I knew it was a possibility that I could get laid off both times. And I know what you're thinking, is that even legal? And yes, in my situation and where I live, companies can absolutely do this. I can still remember the raw emotions from the day that I found out. I was truly heartbroken, and I felt everything from anger to despair to panic. And the very first thing that my husband and I did was we called our financial advisor to let them know and ask if they thought we could make it on one income. We were pretty sure that we could, but like I was saying before, I'm a pretty risk-averse person and I was panicked. I was worried. We got some reassurance from them that we were going to be okay in the short term. So then it came down to continuing to process this huge change and figuring out what we wanted to do next. So the way I planned for this possibility was by saving as much money as possible, living below my means, and not allowing lifestyle creep to eat up my finances. No matter how prepared you are for something like losing a job, you're never truly prepared mentally. I don't think I would have ever left my job on my own, if I'm being honest. I think it was going to take a forcing factor like this in order to make a change. My husband and I struggled to find quality childcare that we felt comfortable with for our first, and so we knew that that problem was only going to be even more difficult once we had our second. So it was always on our radar that one of us might need to make a change and become the stay-at-home parent. But again, if I'm being honest, I don't really think I have the stay-at-home mom personality type, if that even is a personality type. I love being busy with my career. I love having external goals, external recognition. I may not be a destined stay-at-home mom type of person, but this is still the right decision for me and the right decision for our family for the moment. That doesn't mean it's always going to be like this. I can absolutely see returning to work, returning to my career once my kids are both of school age. But for now, this is what is making most sense for our family. And to be honest, I'm just working on making the best of it for both myself and for the whole family. A year into this transition, I can definitely see the pros and the cons. The cons were the things I noticed immediately, which of course were I'm no longer getting a paycheck, and I don't remember the last time that I didn't have money coming into my bank account, but it was certainly when I was a child, not at all during my adult years. So that's been a huge change. And also just not getting that external recognition and praise. Being able to do a project at work and then getting some recognition for it is something that I really enjoyed, just that sense of accomplishment. And then of course, being able to talk with adults, even if it was remotely, which was usually the case for me because I was working from home, just having adult conversation and catching up with adults was something that I really took for granted before. It was something that I was able to do on a regular basis apart from my husband and my parents. I don't really have a whole lot of adults to speak with, and it's of course not the same talking to your toddlers as much as I love chatting with them too. Now for the pros, and these are kind of unexpected. When I was working, I never really had the energy to read, and I don't know why it was. Maybe it was because I was staring at a computer screen or a phone pretty much all day, every day, and I just never really felt much like sitting down and looking at a book. But I really didn't read for pleasure for probably over a decade. It's not as though I have any more free time on my hands, because if you're any type of parent, whether you work from the home or outside of the home, you know that it's not exactly, there's not exactly a whole lot of free time built in. But I have found myself listening to a lot of audiobooks during nap time or when the kids go to bed while I'm doing chores, just kind of like what you're seeing here. It has been so interesting to discover the types of books, the genres that I enjoy reading and listening to. That's been a whole area of self-discovery for me that's been completely untapped for the past decade plus. If I did read a book while I was working, it was usually some type of self-help or leadership or kind of just corporate style book that I was reading, either because it was assigned for some work project or because it was going to help me excel in one particular area or another of my career. So being able to explore the types of books and stories that I like to listen to and read has truly been a fascinating aspect of self-discovery. I also found that throughout my career, as the years progressed, I really started to completely lose my creativity and my ability to brainstorm and come up with completely new ideas. I don't know if that is a side effect of working a corporate job or if it just had to do with the style of work that I had in my career, but I really found that a lot of the things that I enjoyed doing that came easily to me before when I was in school and during my childhood, I really struggled with as an adult. And maybe that's just an aspect of growing older, but I did really miss it as well. And so that's been something I'm on a mission to rediscover right now is how can I reignite that creativity? And that's part of why I'm starting to create videos again, is to see what I can come up with, see what new ideas I can try, and see what this might unlock for me. It would mean so much to me if you like this video and subscribe to follow along. I'll be sharing my systems for how I'm making my stay-at-home mom lifestyle work for a career girl at heart.